to The Wild Side with me, Jack. Don't just the earpiece. Yes, this is an accent. Let you work out where it's from, though. So today, it's my pleasure to introduce a man who is the face of New Zealand heavy metal to a lot of people, me included, actually. He's a vocalist, muso, multi-instrumentalist, TV presenter, radio host, amongst many talents. So I'm also stoked to say he's a buddy of mine as well. We do a lot of online fun together. Oh, that sounded dodgy as hell. Yeah, forget that shit. So let's talk to him. Introducing Riccardo Ball. Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm good, Jack. I'm good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Cool. Okay, so look straight into it now. First off, let's talk about your band, Just One Fix. Now you're the vocalist, and is it you the bass player?
No, just vocals. We got yeah. So I'm just standalone vocals, but we're a four-piece. So we have a bass player, a guitarist, and a drummer. Just a old school four to the floor, mate.
Oh, nice. And yeah, I'm pretty right in saying you're not exactly going to be playing things like Lindisfarne or Mary Hopkins versions or anything like that.
No. Predominantly originals. Yeah, we've got 3 albums behind us, so yeah, we've got a bit of our own stuff. Well, we have done a couple of covers actually. We did. There's an American guy who was putting together tribute albums, and he was farming those out, and we got a track on an Ozzy Osbourne tribute album. We did an old Ozzy track called "Breaking All the Rules," and we also got on a Metallica one and did "Phantom Lord." So yeah, we've got a couple of those to our name as well.
Brilliant stuff. So what's in the pipeline for 2023 and beyond for Just One Fix?
Well, I mean, like everybody, it's been kind of one of those. It's been a bit clunky last couple of years, shall we say? Stops and starts, So we've been writing for a while, and we've got 5 songs finished. So we want to record an EP. We're hoping to do it at the end of this season, this year, I should say, but that hasn't happened due to our guitarist got COVID, and his missus and his kid, and just derailed things for a while, and people have got other things going on. So life got in the way a wee bit, but yeah, 2023 we should have a 5-track EP out at some point. Hoping to record with Dave Rhodes sometime, sort of maybe February, March.
Cool. Looking forward to that. I mean, sounds good. So, right. So moving on to your hosting and presenting things now. You presented the Metal Bar.
Yep.
And so with that, first question I've got, as the presenter, what levels of input would you have in choosing the material that makes it to air?
It was good, actually. I was pretty much host and producer, so I got to put the whole thing together. It was on Juice TV, which was a great platform, and Daniel Wrightson and Grant Hislop, that were running it. They gave me free reign. They trusted me because I had a background in programming. Of course, yeah. So, the only thing that I wasn't allowed to do, which I had to, didn't make a lot of difference for me, but I think it would have maybe hip hop videos and things like that. They had a sponsorship deal with Smoke Free New Zealand. So they couldn't play any videos that had people smoking in them. That was the only thing that I had. That was the only thing I wasn't allowed to put on screen. I played Steel Panther videos to give you an idea. They were fine with that, just no one smoking.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, Steel Panther. I guess that's kind of in line with the kind of theme for this series, actually, because this series is called The Wild Side, and that's based on Motley Crue's Wild Side, not the Lou Reed or anything like that. It just takes me back to my youth, and anybody setting foot in the music industry is taking a ride on the Wild Side, I think. So I thought that was a good call. So also with the Metal Bar, you've called that with smoking as well. Would any other kind of immediate or subtle kind of red flags disqualify anything from Australasia? What would stop something going to air? Is it just cigarettes or other stuff?
Generally, it's quality. Like, is this done to a high enough quality? Does it stand up if I play your video next to a Slipknot video, or next to a Machine Head video, or next to whatever it happens to be? It does. Obviously, those guys have got a lot bigger budgets, but it needs to kind of look like that. Like, it needs to kind of sound like that, and that's attainable. So it really was about quality. And I guess the other thing, I never had this issue. But a red flag for me would have been, anything that was, particularly subject matter wise was racially motivated, something like that. But I never came across that. The only thing that I've come close to, which was something recently, actually, a band approached me, and I know this is slightly off topic, but a band approached me to do some work with them. plugging, and they had a song which I thought was quite good, but the video for it was all pro the Wellington anti-vax protests and anti the government, and was a bit tinfoil hat wearing. And and that's not my politics, and I'm pretty vocal about what I believe. And I just said to them, look, I'm happy to push the song to radio, but I will not touch the video, because it would make me a hypocrite if I take money off you to push this, and this is what your message is, then I'm sorry, but so I had to say no. Say no to that, which shouldn't go down that well, to be fair. Yeah,
but still, I mean, that's where that again, staying off topic. I think that's where that argument of freedom of speech is a mutual thing. You can put your things to somebody who say, "Can you play this?" But no, I'm sorry, my freedom of speech is exercised now by saying no.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's important. And it's retaining your values. It's retaining. I said no to reasonably good money to do that. To not do it, basically, and I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, good as gold. Good as gold. What about technical side of things with regard to videos? I mean, I seem to recall a requirement for a minimum DPI and things like that. I mean, did you get a lot of stuff coming in that was quite amateur?
Not really. No, most of the stuff we got was pretty good. I think most people got it. We did have a spec that was on the Juice website at the time, and it was like you just referred them to that and said, "Look, this is what it needs to be."
Yeah,
and you're sweet. So most people, most people were pretty onto it. I don't think I ever got a handheld VHS type, shot it in the band practice room video ever put through. I think everybody was onto it enough to realize that wasn't going to fly.
Good as gold. That sounds awesome. Well, so moving on to the Rock. I mean, as you mentioned, you were the program manager for the Rock, I believe.
Music director, I think, was the title. Yeah.
And then
the Minister of Sound, I used to call myself.
Yeah, I like it. And of course, we had a mutual friend, Tucker, from my homeland. I've just given my nationality away now. Crazy man. He's still he's still going strong, still doing his stuff. He's doing his own video blog now on his trade as a butcher. But anyway, you gave me quite a lot of guidance and advice back in the day, how to get the attention of station programmers and the station managers like yourself and things like that. So what would you just say to someone watching this now who's got the same kind of questions? What are the kind of things you do and what maybe should avoid?
Well, the first thing I would avoid is sending a blanket BCC email to everybody that's the same. I think, you can get away with doing that maybe to the student radio bodies, because you're not dealing with anybody. They just have a blanket response which says we get so many of these, I don't have a problem.
95 BFM and Access Radio would be the student ones, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But for commercial, I think it pays to, and also for playlist builders now, I think that's a big thing, and even journos that you're wanting to review your stuff, any of people like that, is personalize it. So you got to take some time, invest some time. So if, for example, Jack, if you had a Spotify playlist thing and a YouTube show where you maybe talked about new music that you were getting submitted to you, I would listen to your playlist. I would watch a couple of episodes of you, and so I know which direction you're going in, and I know what is cranking your handle at the moment. So then I could say, for example, I would email you with my new song and go, "Hey Jack, I've been checking out your Wildside YouTube show. Think it's really good, and I loved that track from Rival Sons that you added to your latest playlist, because I hadn't heard that yet, and I love that band. So thanks very much for turning me on to them." And then you're engaging the person, and you're also giving them showing them some respect and saying, "Look, I appreciate your work. I've taken the time to look at your work and see what it is you're doing." And then you personalize that, and it's not just a blanket email. So I would definitely, I would do that. I think that's really important. And the other thing that I think is cool too is just think about how you write what you write and how much you put in, and how you title it in the subject line, because most of your first contact is going to be over email. So, new release, Jack's new song or whatever is probably going to go, "Oh, fuck, okay, whatever," right? So think about that. How do I grab someone's attention? How do I make them go, "Wonder what that is," and click on the email? Then, like I said, you don't want to talk too long. You want to make it maybe 2 paragraphs that's plenty. And you also, the other thing you want to do is, I know you want them to download your song in a WAV file, right? Or whatever, but have a SoundCloud account and have a link to your SoundCloud so they don't have to download anything.
Yeah.
It's one click and they can listen. There's not too much mucking around. It saves time on their end, makes it easier for them to listen to your song.
Fantastic. Yeah, there we go. There's the word from the man who's done it. So as a promoter for artists via Wrecking Ball Media, so what do you personally look for and try to avoid in an act looking to engage your services? I mean, you've alluded to a little bit of it already, but what else?
What else? Well, there's a few things. I think making sure that what you're working with, I mean, I've done the job, right? I've been the guy that gets sent 100 songs a week. So I put myself back in those shoes. And so I won't take on anything that I don't think has got a shot. So I'll be honest. I'll say to you, look, and I've turned a bunch of work away, so it's in a way it's detrimental to my bank balance. But I think in the long run, if you want people in the industry to take you seriously, you don't give them shit.
There's personal brand involved, isn't there? Yeah.
I want it to be that if they get an email from me, they're going to listen to what I've got to say because they can trust me not to deliver them something that's not up to it.
Yeah, understood perfectly. Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing for me. So I mean, if I'm a band or an artist and I've got a song and I think it's ready for radio, what I would do is it's easy enough to do, make a playlist of the songs that radio station plays and put your song in the playlist and listen to the playlist. How does your song sit? Not just from a style point of view, but from a production point of view, a mastering point of view. Does it sound the same in terms of production levels and things like that? Because that's really important. Yeah. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about. There's so many times I've been sent stuff that hasn't been mastered. For me, that sounds like what I'd consider, if it was my band, I would consider that's a demo mix.
Yeah.
And that's great because it gives you an idea of what the song is, but it's not a finished product, and it's certainly not going to be put on air on, say, The Rock or Hodaki or whichever radio station you're pushing yourself to. And the other thing is, I'd listen to those stations and go, does what I'm doing fit?
Yeah. Perfect.
You just got to take a step backwards, and so you're less personal. Take a step backwards, and try and be honest about that, and go, does this fit?
Brilliant. Yeah. Cool. Are you taking this in? Okay. So what else then is in store for Wrecking Ball Media? Have you got plans for the company for the next year, etc.?
Yeah, well, I mean, I tend to only work with a handful of artists. So at the moment, we've just wound up a Table Fox album. We've got a new single, which you can hear, called "Give It All," that Hodaki and Chaos and Generator and Bayrock and a bunch of playing at the moment. So we've got that out there. Midwave Breaks is another band that I'm working with, a duo with Paul Russell from Super Groove and cool. Bruce Conlon from 8. So working with those guys. Started working with Temples on Mars, who are a bunch of Kiwis based in England, sort of prog rock. Those guys as well, and Miller Yule, who, if you like your Americana sort of style stuff, his album we just released that, and his new single Dynamite is exactly what it says on the box. It's dynamite. If you like Ryan Adams, The Killers, that kind of thing, that'll be your bag as well. So I'm working. I don't work with a lot, but I tend to focus. So I'm doing that, but I'm also looking at expanding and doing a few other things outside of music, sort of podcast producing, podcast hosting. Like, I know people who want to get a message out.
Yeah,
whether it's a business or whether it's a passion, but they don't know how to go about it. And so that is something else that I've done, where I've hosted for people, so I can anchor a podcast for somebody and I can get them to tell the story, and then they get out of it. They get out what they want to get out, and I facilitate it and then can edit it and things for them. So looking at branching out more into that and doing a bit of that sort of thing.
Awesome. So bear that in mind. And the name is Wrecking Ball Media. Do you like people to actually contact you and get in touch with you with that kind of stuff? I mean, are you open to giving your contact details now, for example, your email address, for anybody who's interested in having a chat with you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're interested in getting in touch, because I do consultations as well, not just plugging, so we could do that. It's just wreckingballmedia@gmail.com. So wreckingballmedia@gmail.com. And I've got a Facebook page as well, so you can jump on there and message me on there if that's easier.
Well, there we go. Cool. So, yeah, that's pretty much covered what I was looking to talk about myself. So, is there anything else you'd like to mention? Anything that springs to mind that you're thinking, oh God, I was hoping he's going to talk to me about this?
No, actually, I mean, I'm here for you, Jack. I'm just delivering what you need, my friend.
Gold,
but
that is gold.
you know, I'm happy to help. So, like, you know, if
yeah,
you know, when you're ready to start pushing this out, this episode, etc., let me know. I'll throw it out on all my channels as well, and let's see if we can get some more eyeballs on it. Eh?
That sounds fantastic, man. That's brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. It's really appreciated. Your time's valuable, and yeah, as I said, cool, wonderful, and I'm sure we'll talk online soon.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We will, Jack. Look forward to it, mate. Have a great weekend.
People soon. Good stuff. Take care, mate. We both got a school run to go for. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, bye.